I am the founder and chief cook and bottle washer at Wing Seminars in Eugene, Oregon. I have a wonderful staff, and a bunch of them are here tonight. One is Sherry Frank, who is like my Brian Strauss is here. He's a new intern. We have and staff. Raise your hands up. They're here. And they all went to Burgerville. If you're So, how many of you have not done a Wings thing before? You're being a guest tonight. Whoa, awesome. Okay. So, I just want you to know I am totally passionate about what I do. And my belief is the people that invited you here this evening are really passionate about what they receive and how they've changed their lives as a result of the work they do at Wings. Is that true, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So as I'm going on tonight, if you have questions about the language I'm using or something, because we can fall into those patterns of kind of inside language, I do my best to just do straight talk. And you know what? I can be guilty too. So raise your hand and ask questions. I really, I want you to be able to be having a good time while you're here. So a couple of reasons why we do these evenings. Number one, I love to drive in cars. Number two is to support grads in coming together and reconnecting with one another and also reconnecting with new information. So the information I'm sharing this evening is not in any seminar anywhere. It's stuff that I made up for tonight. And it's like ongoing education. That's that. Hopefully it's fun. And another reason we do these evenings is for all of those of you who raise your hands, who are friends and family, connections with the people who are grads, that you get an idea of what we do at Wings. Wings is a personal effectiveness seminar is a starting off place. It's a big experience. How would you describe the first time you drove a car? You could say what make the car was, how long you were driving, you put your foot down, or how many of you learned in a manual transmission. The only way to drive. But I could tell you a whole bunch of words about it, but without getting behind the wheel of a car and driving it, you really wouldn't know what we're talking about. Does that make sense? It's like, how do you describe a strawberry? Well, I can tell you what it looks like, but you know a strawberry when you eat it. So this evening is about having a small piece of the experience. Now, in 2 hours, can we do what we do in 4 days? Of course not. But you'll get an idea of it, and hopefully something that you can take and use, because that's another one of my intentions when I work with anybody, is that you leave with something that when you use it, it'll make a positive difference in your life. There's plenty of sadness going on. There's plenty of hurt and harm in the world. And I believe it's our job to do what we can to make it better. So that's one of the reasons we're here. I do this, just so you know. You just saw me do it, and I didn't plan it. How many of you fall to tears easily? Yeah. It's good. That means your heart's still open. So this evening, personal power, personal peace. That you're here tells me, number one, it's of interest to you, to feel personally powerful in your life, and also peace in your life. Now, how many of you have hoped that it would be an IV? Come on. Isn't there a pill for that? I mean, can we just, sing Kumbaya and it'll all go away? Well, you know what? Your personal power is your responsibility. How peaceful you are in your life is a side effect of how you live your life. How many of you have been seeking happiness? Look around. I hate to tell you. You're seeking the wrong thing. Happiness is the result of living a meaningful life. It is not something that drives by or jumps in your lap. It's something we create by investing not only in ourselves, but in the people that we care most about. So tonight you're going to be doing a little work. I'm in on work because I think that's one of the ways we polish stones. They're sacred. And there are usually a number of different levels of polishing that go on. It takes a while to get that gem the way you want it to be. So I really believe that my personal power and my personal peace are a side effect of a major shift in consciousness. And that shift in consciousness is from what I call dependency or victim thinking, a cultural trance that we're all a part of. How many of you read the paper and go, "Whoa, the world's in great shape"? No, it's not. And how many of you have stopped paying attention to the news? Because of how you feel when you've done it. So repetitively, we're hit by things to be afraid of, people to blame. It's always somebody else that's doing the wrong thing. And I call that dependency thinking, where we see ourselves as the one being done to instead of the actor. So the shift in thinking is from victim to accountable, from dependency to source. Right? Now, so when I look for validation from the outside, wanting approval, wanting you to like me, shifting and morphing, "Oh, do I look all right?" to you, is what I mean by dependency. Source and accountability is when I hold myself responsible for my actions, my thoughts, my results, my impact that I have on you, instead of saying, "What's wrong with them that they would react like that?" Instead I would ask, "What did I say just then that caused that person to feel so disrespected? How did I say it?" So that's a shift from victim thinking, blame thinking, to accountable thinking. Right? Is that a big step? How many of you have wanted somebody else to change so your life would be better? If they would just change, then I wouldn't have to do it. So that shift is huge, and you know what? We take it many, many times every single day. Driving down the freeway. Have any of you ever judged another driver? You're right. So to come back to accountability and responsibility is huge. It's like this go away, come back, go away, come back. But I guarantee you, the more you come back to that level of ownership and responsibility is where your personal power lies. You become the director of your life. And is that a good place to be?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great place to be. So, you know what? How many of you realize it takes a lot of energy to hide who you really are?
Yeah.
It's amazing. To hide, to deny who you are, to take all those incredible gifts and talents that you have and tuck them away because somebody might laugh. How sad. And again, how many of you know you've done it? Being afraid if you showed up fully, somebody wouldn't like it or they would laugh. So the shift from living life outside in, being worried about approval and fitting in and belonging, to inside out, where I know who I am, what my values are, I hold myself as accountable. Powerful, powerful shift. Creating meaning from inside ourselves is based in self-acceptance and accountability. So, this is something called Johari's window. And Johari's window was created by two guys. Joe Ingram and Harry Love. Turned out to be Joe Harry. Isn't that nice? They share the name. And it's about how it is we live in our life and what we do. Right? So, what is known to myself and known to others is what we call our open or public self. Does that make sense? What is known to me and what you know about me is my open public self. Okay? Now, what is known to myself and unknown to others, because I don't want you to know, is my private self. Make sense? Yeah. So what is known to others and unknown to myself is where I am blind. I don't get it. You see it, you hear it, you may even smell it or taste it or feel it. But I don't get it. I've got a blind spot, or I'm just blind to that. And then what's unknown to others and unknown to myself is the unknown. So, the bigger this box is, the more I'm living in my personal power. And the more I'm in a state of self-acceptance. Does that make sense? That I know myself and you know me. I've stepped in, I'm observable, I'm connected, I'm understandable. You know me. Okay? The smaller this box is, the smaller my personal power is. And probably my self-acceptance. So, how does this box grow? Known to others, what would I need to do?
Disclose myself slowly.
Put some of the stuff in the other boxes into that box.
No. Disclosure. I would reveal myself. I'll tell you who I am, instead of having you guess who I am. Have any of you ever hoped that somebody just would figure you out? Just figure you out so you didn't have to do the work? Yeah, I mean, relationships are a lot like, if you really love me, you would know who I am. So how would I know more about myself in this area?
Feedback. Open feedback.
Okay. So the more open I am to feedback, and the more I self-disclose, the bigger my personal power and my self-acceptance grows. Make sense? And how many of you know that self-disclosure just scares you? Okay. How many of you hear the word feedback and get hives? So another part of disclosure is that I give feedback as well as receive it. Is that a form of disclosure? Yes, I let you know what's going on for me in my relationship with you. So by doing that, I'm also revealing myself. So they're all important. And where we have the most room for growth is in blind and unknown and in private self, about how open we want to be about what is private to us. So I truly believe this is a big foundation for my personal power and my personal peace. The more reactive I am in life, the more I step back from it. more proactive I am and eager for it, the more I step into it. I think there are 5 steps that assist us to shift from that outside-in view of life where I need your approval and I'll do it your way, I will follow all the rules and fit into your box, to living my life inside out. Now, they're all based in the most important thing. They're all based in accountability. So that's the groundwork. That's what's holding all these up, right? So these are shifts in perspective. So, do you and I see the world exactly as it is? No. How do we see it? What do we see it through? We see it through our eyes, our scent, our taste, our smell, all this stuff. We see it through our belief system, through our interpretation of the world, rather than the world as it is. Two people can be standing right next to each other, and there's an event happening over there. Okay? Could be anything. This person's going, oh my God, this is the greatest thing. Oh yeah! This person's going, shit. Now I said that on camera. Oh, really? They might like that in Japan. Okay. So the first step is shifting from loud voice to quiet voice. So what does that mean? 90% of our belief system works for us. It is really wonderful to stop at a red light. You know, it's really important when you turn the stove on, not to sit on it. No, there are lots and lots of important beliefs. About 10% of our beliefs don't work for us at all. So in this context, the loud voice is the outside voice saying, do it this way, be this kind of a person. You're to be seen and not heard. Big boys don't cry. Women earn 75% of what men earn. I mean, all this stuff. That's the loud voice. The quiet voice is you knowing you. That takes the time and the space to become self-aware. So shifting from loud voice to quiet voice is self-awareness. Now, how many of you that have done stuff at Williams realize that this is what's important for you in the work that you've done? To learn how to really listen to you. You know, it's important to respect our elders, to respect rules and regulations, but to take them and swallow them and think them that's life, that's not good. Because somebody made those up, and that somebody had their reasons. But that doesn't mean they work now. How many of you have noticed in the last 10 years of your life that technology has changed a lot for you? You know? So if we're living with the 7, and there's a whole lot of people that still want to believe that technology doesn't exist. And so they're in a reactive state instead of moving along and, you know, noticing what's really happening for them. They'll make technology wrong instead of saying, I'm resisting technology because I'm afraid of it and I don't understand it. Now that's self-awareness. The second one I just looked at it, is from either or to flexibility. So when you're in an either or state of mind, it's either this or that. How do you feel? Rigid?
Frustrated.
Frustrated? Stuck? Scared. So when you have one choice, how do you feel?
Stuck.
Stuck. When you have two choices, either or, how do you feel? Torn. And what are you thinking? I'm going to lose something. If I take this one, I'm going to lose that one. If I take this one, I'm going to lose. There's loss involved in either or. How do you feel when you have three choices?
Confused.
Pardon me?
Confused.
Well, could be, but this is where we finally got the choice. Having one choice is not a choice. Having two is not really. When you get to three, you're finally a choice. And when you have five, it's even better because now you're in the space called creativity. You've just expanded your world instead of saying, oh, whatever. So, when you're listening to the loud voice all the time and thinking that you're supposed to do life a certain way, what's a feeling you might have?
Frustration.
Frustration? Resentment?
Sometimes resignation.
Those are two really common ones. At the effect. Either or, I heard stuck, or we're a couple more. Drop. And loss. So I'd like you all just to stop for a moment and think of the biggest either or situation you were ever in. Biggest either or situation you were ever in. Anybody open to sharing it? Divorce or stay married. How many of you would raise your hand on that one? A lot? Okay. What else?
Traveling or staying in school?
Traveling or staying in school. Freedom and work. Yes.
Get clean or stay in my disease.
So get clean, get sober, or stay in my disease. How many of you have known that one? Yeah. Yes?
Quitting a job or staying in a job?
Oh, boy. That's a tough one, isn't it? Well, they all are tough when it's either or. A couple more.
Supporting a kid at home or not supporting them at home and making them move out for love.
Tough love.
Coming out.
Coming out. Do I stay quiet or do I reveal who I am? Yes?
Having cancer treatment. Or not.
Or not. I know a lot of women who chose not to, and they're not there anymore. Yeah.
Tell my truth or lie about it.
Tell the truth or lie about it. Have a baby or abort. Either or is really, really hard. Okay. So moving into flexibility, where I realize I have 3 choices, I have 5 choices. There are many different ways I can handle this, is moving from outside in to inside out in my view of myself and my world. It's expansive. So any impact talking about either or? What's going on for you? Isn't memory an amazing thing? I mean, you can't remember? What was that I said? No, but I mean, one of the great powers of being in a group is that when one idea comes up out of the group, do I get clean or stay in my disease? All of those of you who've known anyone or had that yourself, you're reminded of it. And we feel it, we remember. There's empathy that goes with that. So there's so much power of coming together and sharing who we are. Okay. So the third step, shift, is from cost to caring. Now, what the heck does that mean? From cost to caring. All right, so what I mean by it If I just had the time, if I just had the money, if I just had the education, I would do that. That's cost. What are some more? If I just had
The energy.
the energy,
Support.
Courage.
if I just had the courage, if I just had the support, if I just had the right dress or shoes, I'd do it. No? That's cost. If I had this, then I would let myself be free. I would let myself do the things that I want to do. Caring is choosing the things that are most important to me, which means I get clear in my deepest values. Values clarification is the shift from cost to caring.
Can you say that one more time?
I'll say it 3 more times if you like. Values clarification is what shifts us from cost to caring. So I would like you all just to think for a moment. What are your 3 deepest values? What are your 3 deepest values? So how many of you have to kind of think about that? Okay. So I want to share a little magic with you. Do any of you have trouble making decisions? Would any of you like to be better at making thoughtful decisions or healthy decisions?
Yes.
Okay, get clear on what your values are. When you know what your 3 deepest values are and what they really, really mean, you have an amazing filter with which to look at the world. Okay, I imagine my filter is right here. There's my 3 deepest values. I have an idea about something I want to do. If it passes through my deepest values, then I ask myself, well, do I really want to do it? Okay. If it passes, I do want it, I'll go ahead and do it because it's passed through the filter. If I have an idea about something I want to do, it doesn't pass through my deepest values, I don't do it. Now, it's amazing the filter works the other way too. So I get an offer from the world. If it passes through my 3 deepest values, then I'm a choice again. Well, here it comes and it passes through. Do I want to do this? If I want to, I do it. If I don't, I say, no, thank you. If it doesn't pass through, it's a definite no. Doesn't that make sense? So for you to get clear about your 3 deepest values is so important to your own health and well-being, to your ease in making decisions and being a person that you really want to be for the rest of your life. So there's this new term to me. It's called moral disengagement. It's when we talk ourselves out of our deepest ethics, so we get to do things that we shouldn't be doing, but we'll rationalize it. Now, isn't that a great phrase? Moral disengagement. I disengage from my morals so I can do this naughty thing over here. Well, so I'm a single woman. He's the married guy. He's the one that's breaking the agreements, not me. Okay for me to do it. Moral disengagement. Does that make sense? Yeah. So when I have these 3 filters, I wouldn't disengage. I've got my filter on my side. Ooh, from hope to commitment. Have any of you been hoping that your life would get better? You know, waiting for, I love Dr. Seuss's The Waiting Place. It's such a great, it's in all the places you go where people are just waiting for their hair to grow. And a bunch of other things. But when we're waiting for the right moment, we're waiting to be discovered, it's outside that's always in control. So circumstances are what determine my life instead of my inner guide. So commitment is about me knowing what I want and aligning myself with that in such a way that I will follow through. So how many of you have gotten really clear about something that you loved and you decided you would do whatever it took? Okay? Was it riding a bike? Can you remember being a kid and watching the older kids ride the bike? Do whatever. Skin your knees, fall down, run into a tree, but you learned how to ride that bike. Number one, we wanted to grow up, we wanted to ride a bike. It's like a rite of passage. From a tricycle to a bicycle, that's a big deal. Yeah. Sometimes along the way, though, we lose that kind of passion and commitment because we're listening to what the outside is telling us is the right thing for us to do instead of listening to the inside of what's the right thing for us to do. So how many of you know that you've gone off your path to please another person? And what has been the impact?
Detour.
Pardon me?
It's a detour.
Detour. How long did it take to get back on track?
Too long.
Too long.
Questioning himself.
Questioning self, disappointment, loss of energy, anger. These are all our favorites, aren't they? Yes.
Betrayal to yourself and the ones you love.
A huge part of it is loss of energy. Just second. So, from hope to commitment is really a lot about self-disclosure, isn't it? That I become clear about who I am and I disclose that. That I'll ask for the help that I really want. I'll reveal to those people around me what I will do to create it and ask for the assistance that I really want. So what does commitment mean to you?
Taking a stand for something I love.
Taking a stand for something I love.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Putting time and resources into it.
Putting time and resources into it.
Never giving up.
Never giving up. Doing what it takes.
Ham and eggs.
Pardon me?
Ham and eggs.
Ham and eggs?
The chicken has hope and is interested, but the pig is committed.
I remember that. Yeah. And the last big shift in my mind is moving from settling for to daring to dream. You know, we are truly blessed to live where we live. How many of you have seen the recent thing from National Geographic where it has the face of 7 billion people? Right now, the homogenized face is of a Chinese person from one of the provinces. That 1 billion people, and these are the richest people, are the people that make over $12,500 a year. This is World Bank numbers. 6 billion people live below that. The people that have the least, the $1 billion, have the most children. And they make something like $35 a month. You know? So here we are in this 1 billion that have so much. And yet how many of you have thought you didn't have enough? Okay. And in that, or settle for that because it is a lot and wouldn't take the step out of it. Yeah, you know what I mean? That there's more that you could have or create in the world than you're allowing yourself to do. And I'm not just talking about money. And here we have all this abundance and we feel limited. And settling for less than we want when we've had a ton already. How can we grow that? How can we extend that? How can we dream with that and do in our own lives and do in the world what we think is really good? Big shift in head. Okay. So, how have you settled for? How have you settled for less?
Relationship.
Okay, in relationships, how?
Staying with someone that was helpful.
Wasn't healthy. How many of you know that you've done that? Okay. Very often settling for is based in the fear of the unknown. Okay. At least I've got this. May not be the best thing, but I've got it. If I let go of it, what would I have? I might not have anything. There may not be another person on the planet out of 7 billion people that could possibly love me. Hello? You know, I mean, we do these, we're thinking for. But settling for, just think of ways that you settle for less than you really wanted. I think a lot of it is in a relationship. You know, we're afraid to speak up because what could our partner do? Again, that outside-in thing. You know, we read ourselves off of them instead of standing forward and being all that we can be. Shaking and quaking inside. I know, I've done it. Not a very healthy process. So, settling forward to daring to dream. What are some of your dreams? You think about your life. Take off the shutters. Open the doors. Turn the lights on. What are some of those dreams?
Write a book.
Write a book. An e-book.
Certainly.
I mean, books are changing, aren't they?
Oh, right.
I mean, yeah. Who was the politician that wanted to give every kid in the United States an e-book? Not an e-book, an iPad. It's been about 3 weeks ago. And then he got way down on Steve Jobs. I mean, it's just like Steve Jobs. Kind of weird thinking. Write a book, write an e-book. It's going to save the planet.
Oh, an e-book.
An e-book.
I didn't know what you were saying.
Yeah. So what else? Dreams.
Travel.
Travel where?
We're going to England next year.
England and beyond.
England
Yeah.
and Scotland. Yeah.
I want to photograph the giant causeway in Ireland.
Sounds like a good idea.
Adopt children.
What was that?
Adopt children.
Adopt children. What a great idea. Yes.
Own my own business.
Open your own business. What kind?
Helping moms healthy for themselves and their families.
Great.
Stay healthy.
Stay healthy. Yoga.
Without that, you have nothing.
That's right. It's important, isn't it? Yeah. Yes.
Take a group to do personal development coaching and
Sounds like a dream to me. I wouldn't want to be working though. If I would follow everyone. Yeah. A couple more dreams.
having the most incredible marriage and partnership with Daniel is possible.
Oh, you already got that.
I think we're pretty far on track, but hey,
It could get better.
I'm open to it.
Sure, yes. Just not worrying about it. How much time you spend worrying? Do you think that's an effective strategy? Was it Woody Allen? Somebody said, "Don't tell me worry doesn't work. Everything I worry about doesn't happen." Doesn't that sound like Woody Allen? I believe that our imagination I believe it's one of our greatest gifts. I mean, we have the ability to imagine something and bring it into being. I mean, it's magic. And to use it to make disaster films, take down our immune system, upset our stomach, is not a good idea. Big costs are worried, folks. Big costs. Yes?
Work within 5 miles of where I live and love where I live.
Oh, that's a good thing to add in. Yeah. And love where I live. So live within 5 miles. So you can walk or ride your bike or
Yeah, and I can't figure that one out yet.
lots of places in the world that will work. Open our boundaries up. Yeah. Okay. If I've raised your hand. Okay. So, if you don't have a destination, you don't have a dream, how can you get there? So it's dreams that spark the adventure, our dreams that spark our movement in going forward instead of going backwards. So I'm going to share a poem by Mary Alder that I love. It's called Wild Geese. You might have heard it before. It's just a great poem. And I love the opening line because it goes against all my upbringing. You do not have to be good. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese high in the clean blue air are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination. Calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. I believe your life is meant to be lived with passion and peace. That your life is meant to be lived inside out, with you as the chooser, knowing your deepest values, aligning with the things that are most important to you, and trusting that when you live that way, you will attract others that are doing the same thing. Our consciousness is a magnet for consciousness similar. How many of you know that you do have some people in your life that know how to do victim thinking? Okay. So we have them talking in and around the coffee pot and the kitchen and work and all that. And guess what? Another one's going to walk in. Oh no, I've got a better one. You know, I got a better victim story. Then there's this whole group. And very often, who are they talking about? The boss. Or somebody that has control in some way. So, consciousness attracts itself. When you step into accountability and ownership, being the source of your life, being a dreamer, guess what? Accountable people who are dreamers show up, they're drawn to you. They find you.